Good evening, everyone. This is our first time doing one of these outdoors in this environment, wearing masks, in the wind, in the chilly evening. So if I misstep and take this away from my face for too long, it's because my stuff is blowing around in front of me. But bear with me. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate your attendance at the YMCA's annual meeting. The theme of our meeting this evening is Our Community, Our Cause. And this is our opportunity to celebrate the work of the Y and the work of our volunteers and of our board and of our staff. The last year has been challenging for many of us, and it's been no different for our Y. However, as a result of our commitment from our various stakeholders, our Y has risen to the challenge. And before I take a deeper dive into tonight's program, I'd like to welcome Craig Wolf to lead us with an invocation. Craig?
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone. Let's pray. Our God and Father, we come together this evening, humbly giving you the glory for the 165 years of service by the YMCA of York to this community. We know that without your intervention and blessing, nothing can be accomplished. We're also thankful that throughout this year of trial that you've helped us to remain faithful to your calling and mission. Fill us with your vision and heart as we look to the needs of our community, to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to bring peace, to make music in the heart, to bring health and comfort to the sick, to pay attention to children, to give a home to the homeless and under-resourced families, to provide opportunities for those seeking wellness of spirit, mind, and body. All to give the glory to you as we build community, bring opportunity, and draw people together. We're grateful for this food, for this fellowship, and for the reflections of this evening. And it's in the name of Jesus we pray tonight. Amen.
Thank you, Craig. And with that, I'd like to introduce Zach Newby to introduce our video. And the mic's going to go off, so the video can go on in just a second.
Now I can, if you all join me and bring your attention to the TV screen for a year in review of 2019.
We have to pay a little bit closer attention, but show must go on, right?
Every day is a sunny day. Tropical breeze to blow your mood away. Days are warm and the nights are hot. I wouldn't trade this world for any world you got. It's the best of all possible worlds. It's the best
and Mike Smith. These three are going to introduce our volunteers of the year from each of our branches. Jennifer, if you'd like to lead us off.
Good evening, everyone. Our 2019 Volunteer of the Year at the Bob Hoffman YMCA actually started back in the 1980s volunteering as one of our board members, has been a longtime member, takes a lot of our classes, and has been an integral part of working with us on the annual support campaign, soliciting donations to that. She is actively involved in a lot of programs at our Y and just does a great job promoting our YMCA in the community. So I would like to congratulate Vicki Ryber as our 2019 Volunteer of the Year at the Bob Hoffman YMCA. I wrote a few things down and I need to put my glasses on to read them. I don't know if that shows my age or it's just the sun shining in my eyes today. That's what it is. I have the privilege of introducing two volunteers of the year. One is with the North Branch YMCA, and her name is Katie Callahan. She's been a long time Y member. And actually she comes from a family of Y supporters also, but I would like to say, showing my age, Katie, I can remember in the Bob Hoffman YMCA Part A preschool program back a few years ago. And her parents bringing her to the branch for other activities as well. She really started volunteering here back in 2018 is what it was showing, but she's been in a myriad of things, and she's just really been a blessing to our YMCA in general. She is so enthusiastic. If you've ever sat in a meeting with her, the bubbly personality that comes out and the ideas that she had, it's not that you can't do it, we got to do this, we can do this, we can do this. That sums up Katie, and she has, and I saw some of the videos on there, or pictures I should say, volunteered not only on the Live Strong Boston Gala Committee, the annual campaign leadership, but she's been a water station at the marathon and half marathon. She's handed out things at the turkey trot. So she is just an all-around volunteer person. So I'm excited and honored to present her with the York Branch Volunteer of the Year. Just give her a big the other person we'd like to recognize this evening is not here with us, but his name is Jeff Kyle. Jeff joined the YMCA back in 2003, so he's been a 17-year Y member. But that's over half of his lifetime actually based on his age. So I would call that long-term Y member payment. But Jeff could originally be spotted as a regular attendee to Craig Wolf's indoor cycle class that he'd walk over and take. Also training in the Wellness Center for some of the Spartan races he used to do. But currently he serves as on the board of managers at the Eastern Branch as the chairperson. I've had the opportunity to be part of those meetings, whether it was in person prior to COVID and now virtual pre-COVID here, or during COVID. And his genuine commitment to the YMCA mission and the Eastern Branch in York County is extremely evident. If anybody knows Jeff, as I alluded to his training, he is a force to be reckoned with when he's out on his bicycle. If you're doing a group ride with him, he is always in the front. So the reason I say that, because I think he brings that same tenacity to the leadership qualities that he has and his style that he has as board chair out there. So I'm excited and honored to present a small token of our appreciation on behalf of him, which we don't have here this evening, but that's okay. We'll get it to Jeff Kyle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Smith. I'm the Executive Director at the Southern Branch YMCA in Shrewsbury, and it's my honor and privilege to recognize our Volunteer of the Year, Pastor Tim Dance. I met Tim 3 years ago when I first started with the Y, one of the first volunteers that I had the opportunity to meet. It's been an absolute blessing getting to know Tim and developing a friendship with him. And Tim started serving at the Y in 2007 when his church first decided to call our Southern Branch YMCA home. I believe at first it was sort of a stop on the radar before they moved on to a different building, but lo and behold, 13 years later, we just finished an expansion project that now houses their brand new worship center. So nobody's been done more for our YMCA over those years. Tim's family really has grown up and was raised in the Y. Children participating in various Y programs, including our preschool programs, some of our youth sports programs. Tim has served on just about every committee that we have at the branch board, including our program and membership committee, and is the current chair of our branch board of managers. Tim served on the capital campaign committee to help raise funds for the newest expansion that we just completed, and currently serves, I believe, on the corporate board of directors. So it's my honor and privilege to recognize Tim as our 2019 Volunteer of the Year at the Southern Branch YMCA. So come on up, Tim. Just to give you the proverbial grown-up bump. Do the fist bump. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your leadership, Tim.
Thank you, everybody, and congratulations to Vicki, Katie, Jeff, and Tim. We appreciate all that you do for the Y, for our organization, and Larry is going to hand deliver your certificates of appreciation at a later date. So, Larry, just make note of that if you would. Next, I'm going to ask Larry to join us and present the Lifetime Service Award.
Thank you, Jim. The last time you stood here just a few minutes ago, you didn't have those Secret Service glasses on. And, I think Tony would be proud because he was able to get his suit and his tie tied today. It's been a while. It's been a while for him. So the Lifetime of Service Award, there's a few people here that have been part of the Lifetime of Service Awards. We started doing this a number of years ago. And this year we were thinking about this, our staff committee that looks at this as to who we wanted to honor that has really spent probably not the entire lifetime, but a significant amount of years, and we really don't have a minimum. And when we went out, we kind of looked at the board of the people who had a Lifetime of Service Award winners. I got to thinking, and we had a couple ideas, and we threw around a couple names, a number of names, and two of the names that we were throwing around were John Herrold and Jan Herrold. And so we got to thinking and said, hey, we're an internal staff committee, we do whatever we want, so why don't we recognize both John and Jan together as a couple? And so that's what we decided to do, and we were fooling around as to how to let them know, to get them here tonight, and then let people know, then they could come. And so during Corona, there wasn't many people, there are not many people coming to the YMCA locker rooms, and one of those people was John Herrold. He's coming in riding his bike, and there's a few others. And so I would try to time it when I would see him. Won't give you the gory details, but when I could see him in the shower, and then I would have him one-to-one in the shower to be able to kind of talk to him and try to feel out where he was. And so finally, after beating around the bush a couple times, I said, are you and Jan around at the end of September? And he said, no, why? And I had to tell him what he is, and he was very honored. We wanted to talk with Jan about it, but he said, I'm planning on being up at our place up in New Hampshire. And I said, well, that may work because we can do something virtually, because we're going to try to do it outside for the first time, and obviously this is not perfect. We haven't got the TV volume to work. I forgot the volunteer certificates. But there is a bar over there, and we're hoping that she's going to stay open till 7:30 at least. So we haven't been able to do it perfect. But talk about perfect, all those, and many that we don't honor Lifetime of Service Awards, but John and Jan Herrold. You know, Jan Herrold, many of you do know her. She was the first female board chair of the YMCA many, many years ago, and really, I would say, paved the way. We've now had 4 or 5, and we'll have 6 next year. Gina Kruper is the first vice chair, so in June, as long as COVID's over, we don't have our annual meeting in September. Gina Kruper will be the new board chair, and it's been, I'm proud that we've had
5, but probably should ask why we had more. But anyway, Jody Keller's here tonight. She was a past board chair. Christine Knepp, many of you know Christine. Cindy Dotzel, and then Gina. So Jan kind of paved that way, but she always was part of the capital campaign committees and helped us to raise money many, many times. She served in strategic planning roles for us and led us and facilitated us in that. And John's probably key role, he was our legal counsel when Mike Brillhart became a judge back in the late 70s. Mike went to the bench and he couldn't be on the board any longer, and Mike and John were partners. And John then, because his kids were on the swim team, Katie and Andy both were on the swim team. Katie still swims in the YMCA, I think in Ohio or Indiana. And Andy now is swimming at the Graham Aquatic Center, I think. And so they're still swimming. And John was our legal counsel for years up until around 2016. They've always been great contributors. We're honored that we're able to honor them. And it fits with our theme tonight of honor and volunteers, which really drives this YMCA to the excellence that it is, volunteers. So I think we have John and Jan up at their place in New Hampshire on the video.
Hello everyone, greetings from the Lakes region of New Hampshire. John and I are really pleased that we're able to be with you tonight. So, John and I have been connected with and involved with the York YMCA for lots and lots of years, and we've had the privilege and the pleasure to work with the staff on a number of different projects and initiatives. So what I'd like to do is talk just for a minute about the Y's response to COVID-19. And it's really the staff's response that I want to speak to, because I think they just did a fabulous job. And in particular, their ability to make a very, very rapid shift to focus in on essential services, I think was absolutely awesome. So from making sure that there was food for people who needed it, to safe childcare, to making sure that the York Branch residents, that their needs were being taken care of, and also Joe's daily messages. And it was a great opportunity for Joe to let people know the various ways in which the Y might be able to help them if they needed help. So, and I think it was done very, very effectively. So I actually kind of became hooked on Joe's daily messages, and specifically the jokes. And I don't know if any of you follow his daily message, and in particular the daily jokes, but I'm curious how many of you have noticed, as I have, that an unusual number of the characters in the jokes are Larry and Craig. So I actually think that Joe has established a whole new category of jokes. Like lawyer jokes, only Larry and Craig jokes. So, but just to cycle back, to refer back to all that the staff did, I really do want to congratulate you and say thank you. From my perspective, the work that you've done through the pandemic has been the best example of delivering on message that I've seen in my time at the York Y. So congratulations, and again, thanks. And with that, I will just pass it over to John.
Thank you, Jan. As Jan said, we have been involved with the YMCA for many, many years, and we found that involvement to be very satisfactory. I think that Jan got started when our daughter was 6 months old and taking her into diaper dip, and through the years, our kids came up through the program, specifically the swimming programs, and quite honestly, I think what Bill Schmidt did with our kids was fantastic and taught discipline and self-reliance. We've tried to give back to the Y as much as we could. Jan served on the board as I did. We've donated to the Y since we were able, and worked on various different projects for us.
Alan. So in addition to being grateful to hear John and Jan's story and appreciating all the service that they've had with our organization, I also learned something new about Larry. I've been stalked in the locker room for donations, for volunteering at events, but I've never been stalked in the locker room for getting a certificate, an award of achievement of service. So, Larry, that's you're really stepping up your game.
There's a vulnerable place in that locker room. You get a lot of airtime.
I understand. Well, I know that many of you have been touched by Jan and John and their service to our organization over the years, and you'll recognize along with me that it is a recognition that is well deserved. So when they return, please give them a pat on the back and give them our thanks for their years of service to the YMCA. Just great service to our organization. So please thank them. Next, I'm going to ask Karen Rupert to join us again to recognize our long-term members of the York Y.
I think everyone should have gotten some of these on their tables. I'm not going to read through everybody's name, but please take a moment to look at the longevity here at the YMCA. We have lifetime service, but we also have some lifetime members here. And obviously, my name was picked off there to present this, I think, or just talk about it because I've been with the Y so long they couldn't figure out who else to put up here at this particular time as a staff person to do it. But it's really incredible to have Beatrice Broderbush has been a member for 80 plus years. Think about that, 80 years. I hope I make it to 80 years living, let alone being a Y member for 80 years. I promise I'm not going to be a staff person for 80 years. I'm not doing that. I'm drawing the line there. But some of the other ones also, 60 years plus our categories, 50 years, 40. And what's amazing is I still see some of these people today, and I've gotten to know them very well over the years of my tenure with the YMCA. And we truly appreciate their service and their smiles as they come into our YMCAs on a daily basis. But having said that, so you have like at the baseball game, the 7th inning stretch type thing. So maybe we're gonna have like a little Y member stretch here a little bit. Tell me what your longevity has with the YMCA. So we'll start off shorter and go longer, if that's okay. How many people have been with the Y 5 or more years? 5 or more years? Okay, keep your hands up because it's going to get longer. 10 or more years? 15 or more years? Keep your hands up. 20? 25? 30? I'm on 29 right now. 30? 35? Do I hear 40? 45? 50? 55? 60? Anybody above 60? Lance, I'd like you to... That's okay. Lance, I'd like you to stand because we would like to recognize that 60 years there. I think that's pretty incredible. We appreciate it. We truly do. And this longevity of our members and their trust in what we're doing with our mission, as John and Jan Herrold mentioned, we didn't shut down over COVID. We were still there. We went to work every day, even though the office was pretty darn cold. Thank you very much, Steve Wolf. But it's not his fault, it was all good. But we were there on a daily basis. We didn't take time off, and a lot of our staff didn't take time off. And I'm not trying to pitch that, I'm just trying to say we thought it was very important that we were there for our community. So, we think our members understand that, and we want to be there for our members also. So thank you very much for being part of our family.
Thank you, Karen. That's always one of my favorite parts of the annual meeting, for everybody to admit how long they've been coming around the Y. Many of you have been coming to the Y longer than I've been alive, if that makes you feel any better. So, next I'd like to recognize some outgoing and retiring board members. When I call your name, please join us up front. We did not forget these awards, so we appreciate the opportunity to hand them to you directly. They include Kelly Buchertis, Kevin Sessick, Dennis Kelly, James Kruper, and Scott Monteith. And Kevin couldn't join us this evening, but thank you for your years of service and your contributions to our organization. We look forward to your staying engaged in our various committees and events, wink, wink, hint, hint. And if nothing else, we know that we're going to see you in the gym and in the court from time to time. So thank you again for your years of service. We look forward to seeing you around. And next, I'd like to invite Megan Hill to recognize some of our staff milestones.
Hi, everybody. Along with all of our long-term members, we have also lucky to have a lot of our long-term employees who are actually here with us this evening. And I have the honor of presenting them with their certificate and with their pin. As several people have alluded to, it's been a challenging year, but everyone's kind of stepped up to the plate. Revolution Stadium, and really done an incredible job. I don't know how we would have made it through without some of these people this year. So I can't see everybody, unfortunately, because I don't have my glasses on because they fog up when I have a mask on. So I'm going to kind of read through the names. If you are here, please come on up. Larry, are you going to help me out here? So if you'd like to get your picture with Larry, but we'll have your pin and everything with you. We're going to take pictures after, but okay, so
the bar stays open.
So if you're here, just come on up. For 5 years of service, this group here is Christopher Lanius, Alexander Buscemi, Talisa Thomas, Travis Bowman, Abigail Braswell, Carson Kratzen, Sharon Blakeney. And he's here, all right.
Yes.
Our first one. I feel like you got a prize too.
Sean's the only one that works. Everybody else works.
Sean Jameson.
No, he's
5
only
years
been
of
here for
service.
5 years.
Jermaine Bailey, Chloe Berkebile, Anne-Marie Falzone, Cynthia D. Anuzio, Deborah Sheffer, getting close to the end of the fives here, Janae Barton, Lloyd Elliott, Bev Steinmel. All right, so now we're at our 10 years. I know a couple of you are here. So our first with 10 years of service is Steve Wolf. I know I saw him somewhere. Thank you, Steve. I think most of you in the room know Steve. Bonnie Raymeyer. Matt McMahon. Jamie Coy. Robert Reddy. And we have a couple who are at 15 years of service. Thomas Somerville. J.S. Ajish. Sean Wright. And now we're up to 20 years. I know a couple of these people are in the room. Mary Falzone. Jennifer Hawkins Smith. I know you were here. 25 years. I believe I saw Corey, right? Oh, you were there. Corey Strathmeyer was 25 years. Kim Armold, also with 25 years. I'm not sure if he's here, but it's another 5 years. And last but certainly not least, she's been here so long, they don't even make a pin for her, so we just had to get her a special silver pin, and that is Karen Rupert with 30 years. So again, thank you to all of our staff. We have a handful of other staff here with us this evening. We may not have hit a year of service, but we are thankful and grateful for all of you.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you to all the Y staff. You truly are the backbone of our organization, so thank you for all that you do day in and day out to support the work that we do, and in particular the mission of the organization. So I'm going to turn it back over to Larry now to report on board development and board nominations.
Thanks again, Jim. Just for those who did get the volunteers that are here and the staff, we're going to get pictures at the end of the night, so please come up here. And even the board members who are going to be nominated, pending the vote, of course. We'd like to get your pictures up here also. So this is the business part of the meeting, so I just want to read these off. We have 24 members on the corporate board. There are 3 classes of 8. Tonight we're nominating 3 board members who are returning. You saw 5 who were honored as they rotate off the board, and 5 new people that will be joining the board for their first term. So returning board members, you've seen Scott Hitty, the volunteer, or no, we didn't see Scott Hitty yet. Scott Hitty, back here. Scott, just raise your hand, please. Gina Kruper, who we pointed out earlier, first vice chair, and Jeremy Lynch. I didn't see Jeremy here tonight. New nominees to the board are Montez Parker, Adam Grove. Adam is here. Adam Grove's back here. Amy Dahl. I did not see Amy here. Curtis Tribune. So Curtis over here. Thank you, Curtis. And Justin Tamami. Justin is here. So those are the 8 folks, board members, volunteers that will serve in leadership and governance, really that which runs the YMCA. So I place these, and I make a motion that these 8 be placed in the class of 2023 for the YMCA of York County Corporate Board of Directors. So I just need a second. Here in a second. Thank you, Jody. Here in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any in disfavor by no? Congratulations to those who are on the corporate board. We'll get you started real early here in October, so thank you.
Thank you. I can lose the shades. The sun just went below the building, so we are good to go there. So thank you, Larry, and welcome to all the new board members. We look forward to your leadership and your guidance and your input for the betterment of the organization. Next, I'd like you to turn your attention to the 2019 annual report. I believe many of you have it in front of you, and if not, it will be made available at a later date. I'm not going to touch on the financials because Barbara, our CFO, is going to go over those in just a moment. However, I do want to note that we had some 885 volunteers contribute 9,000 hours of service, and that our Y served roughly 66,000 people last year. So that's an incredible portion of York County. And our charitable work touch programs from aquatics to camp and Live Strong to membership for all, the men's residence, the New American Welcoming Center, Rocksteady Boxing, Southern Community Services, Y Achievers, Youth Sports, and Youth Enrichment. And I would encourage you to read through that report, some of the testimonials that are included. We really do have a great impact on those folks that participate in those programs. You also know the list of our major philanthropic supporters who make our mission work possible, so thank you to those supporters. And finally, we've included our longtime members, staff, and the volunteers that were recognized tonight. So take a look at those. Just great folks, and we're so pleased to have you as part of the Y. Let's give them all one more round of applause. And before I turn it over to Barbara for our financial overview and to Larry for his closing remarks, I'd like to make a few broader comments about the YMCA of York and York County. As I've stated earlier, and as several others have stated, this has been a tough time for us all, no doubt about it. But I am energized and I'm motivated by the work that we are doing here at RY. In recent years, we brought the New American Welcoming Center to our community, and this year we safely and responsibly reopened the Y after a pause caused by COVID, and our work does not go unnoticed. As many of you are aware, we were recently asked and took up the opportunity to work with the Lancaster Family Y through a management agreement. In addition, we've continued talks in Spring Grove area to expand our services westward. Those opportunities are a direct result of the good work we've done in our current footprint, so much so that we've been invited to continue that work outside of our normal footprint. And we will consider those options in a very cautious and respectful manner, and we look forward to continuing to grow the impact that we have in our community. And so while some of those contexts, some of that falls a little bit out of the context of our meeting here this evening, I think it's important to recognize that RY continues to be a leader and continues to be looked at as a leader within the Y community as a whole. So that's kudos to the staff, to the volunteers, to the board, and all of the members. So keep up the good work. We are really doing great things here at RY. And with that, I will turn it over to Barbara, who will then be followed by Larry for closing remarks. Barbara?
Okay, this is a contest. Whoever can read those numbers from the back of the area back there. Well, as I go through our 2019 results, you'll see that there's a lot more that's important than just seeing these figures. Our strong performance of fiscal year 2018 continued into 2019. We have more growth and positive outcomes. We ended the year with total support and revenue of $11.1 million, 9% higher than revenues reported for 2018. It's an increase of $892,000. Consistent with prior year trends, the Y recorded increases in both contributed and earned revenues. Contribution funding increased 23%. Program fee revenue increased 4%, and membership revenue was higher by 15%. Included in our contributions, $3.8 million of donor restricted revenue, of which $3.5 million was pledged towards the completion of our special capital projects. Southern Gym, for example. 98.8% of our donations, grant funds, federated campaign receipts, and fundraising events, a combined total of $5.1 million, 98.8% goes directly towards programs and community outreach services. That's a high percent. It's also our focus. This upward trend in revenue generation has assured our ongoing dedication to be able to focus on strengthening our mission areas. $1.6 million was provided in financial assistance and services to the community. And it didn't only go to Y members. You don't have to be a Y member to receive some of this support. Over 2,000 low to moderate income individuals benefited from social and support services such as food emergency, energy, and other assistance, as well as case management through our Southern Community Services Department. Over 22,106 to be exact, lunches and dinners were provided at our Y Achievers, Summer Learning Loss Prevention, and Youth Mobile Food Delivery programs. The New American Welcome Center provided support and connection to resources to those just arriving in our community. 729 individuals were served, representing 24 countries. These are big numbers. And this is all in addition to the over 500,000 we provide in financial assistance so that we can have membership available to all. It's also in addition to our many chronic disease prevention programs and our Live Strong program. We also provide free instructional swim lessons to youth, again, so that everyone has an opportunity for that important life skill. So to all of our donors, individual, organization, government, thank you, because your help and ongoing support has provided for this service. These programs were also the critical programs that you've heard mentioned, enabled us to remain open and provide essential services to our community from March 13th through to June 1st. So again, thank you. To sustain this growth and to continue efficiency in the delivery of our services, we expanded our workforce. This created a 5% increase in program expenditures. $6.2 million was reported. But program delivery accounts for 82% of our total costs. So most of our expenditures are directly related to programs. Facilities development and administrative expenditures, we actually decreased those 7% from the prior year. After total expenditures of $7.9 million, the excess of support and revenue over expenses amounted to $3.3 million. Bottom line, $3,253,127. An unrestricted operating margin of 4.3%. Some other financial notes: the YMCA of York and York County acquired an 88% partnership interest in Triangle Group Limited Partners. This is the 120-room men's residence associated next to the Fitness Wellness Center that you all know in downtown Branch, York. Fair value of investments improved 13%, there it goes, to $7.3 million. Investment and interest income received from these assets total $428,000, or 7% higher than 2018. And lastly, but certainly not insignificant, as with the prior year, we continue to decrease long-term debt. We reduced it by $1.1 million down to $3.4 million. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. So we're right on time. Said we'd be done by 7 o'clock. Some of you are starting to bundle up a little bit more, so we'll make sure you get out of here. But those that we did recognize tonight, if you can stick around, we're going to get pictures, right, up here in front. So we appreciate that. New board members that are here, we'll take those pictures, snap them real quick. Just my final remarks are only, is this a night of celebration, right? It's not perfect. We're outside. It's a little bit cold. The sun was on us. The bike didn't work at first. There's a baseball game behind us. Some of that's kind of background.
It was perfect.
But it's still nice, right? It's still nice. We got bag lunches. We don't have chicken tenders and the regular mix that you usually get at the York Revs events. But the bar is still there. The bar is still open, so we hope that maybe you'll stay. But it is a night of celebration, not just John and Jan Herrold, but many of you that have been part of the YMCA. I see many of you, Tony Campese in the back, Clyde Vetter, many of the others, that Fred Callahan, I'm going to forget Jody and Jake Kelly, people that have been around and been part of our organization. There are not many like this YMCA. I know we're talking to a small group, and you all, Bob Boyer and Barb Boyer in the back, and so I'm going to forget something if I keep pointing out people. Doug and Betty Stein. So just amazing place. It's just an amazing place. And Jim mentioned, about something about our working in Lancaster, and it was interesting because I usually get puffed up whenever I'm around the country in YMCA meetings, talk about how old our YMCA is. It's 165. This is our 165th annual meeting. And I went across the river, and that's the first thing they told me is we're 166 years old, Lancaster Y. So what a rich history YMCA services here, but here it's just a unique place. The volunteers, the members, the relationships, the leadership, things that we're able to accomplish. Many YMCAs right now are really, we talked at our board meeting, are suffering. Many YMCAs are closing. Many YMCAs won't make it, not just us, but other nonprofit organizations won't make it. But just if we look at the board members tonight that are retiring, Dennis Kelly's not able to be with us. We're sorry about that, but he was integral part of the chair of our building services committee from Graham Architectural. Kelly, we talked